What if you could completely disarm your harshest critics with a single simple technique? You know that awful feeling when someone comes to you, your mind goes blank and you either freeze or snap back with something you instantly regret? What if you could trade that feeling for a quiet, unshakable confidence? This isn't about just growing thicker skin or pretending their words don't sting. This is about spotting a fundamental flaw in their attack and flipping it for your advantage. For years, I was terrible at handling criticism. I'd either get defensive and make things 100 times worse, or I'd let the comments just chew away at me for days. It was a total lose-lose. But then I stumbled upon a method based on the work of a world-renowned psychiatrist. Dr. David Burns, and it changed everything. So if you're tired of letting other people's negativity ruin your day, stick around. I'm going to break down the exact technique that shuts down personal attacks, protects your peace, and turns all that negative energy into fuel for your own success. Let's get into it. Number one, the big reframe. Why their hate isn't about you. Now, before we get into the technique, you have to truly understand something about critics. Their attack is almost never really about you. It's a projection. Think of them as holding up a mirror, right? Because the nastiness they're throwing at you is usually just a reflection of their own insecurities, fears, or jealousy. Now, here's the psychological truth. Hate is often a cover for something deeper, like envy or a massive fear of being left behind. When someone sees you taking a risk, finding success, or even just daring to be different, it can feel like a spotlight on their own life stagnation. So their criticism isn't some objective truth about your worth. It's an emotional outburst designed to make them feel better by pulling you down. There's an old saying, you have enemies. Good. That means you stood up for something in your life. Haters are often just a sign that you're making an impact. The real enemy of success isn't criticism, it's indifference. If people are talking, it means you are on the radar. So congrats, darling. So the first step is to mentally flip the script. The next time a criticism comes your way, don't think, what's wrong with me? Instead, ask yourself, what is this person's comment revealing about them? That little shift is a game changer. It moves you from being the victim to being an observer. You stop thinking it's personally because you realize you're not the one who created the poison. They are. Once you get that, you're ready for the technique that uses this reality against them. Now, let's talk about the technique. The disarming agreement. And it is so powerful and counterintuitive that it honestly feels like a Jedi mind trick. It's adapted from the work of Dr. David Burns, and it is designed to completely neutralize conflict. See, our first instinct when attacked is to defend ourselves, deny the claim, or fire back. But that's exactly what a hater wants. They're itching for a fight. An argument gives them the stage and validates their aggression. The disarming agreement does the complete opposite and short circuits their entire plan. It works in 3 simple steps. Number 1, pause and find the kernel of truth. Now, the kernel of truth, see, I'm not going to lie, this is the hardest part. No matter how ridiculous, mean, or flat out wrong a criticism is, your job is to pause, take a breath, and find one tiny speck of truth in what they're saying. You have to be quiet. You have to quiet your ego for a second. Even if 99% of their statement is garbage, you're looking for that 1%. If they say your project was a total failure, for example, is there truth in the idea that one small part of it could have been stronger? If they say you always look exhausted, is it true you haven't been sleeping great this week? There's always a grain of truth, even if it's just in their perception. Find that grain. Number 2, the strategic agreement. Now, once you found that little nugget of truth, you calmly agree with only that part. You don't agree with their insult or their negativity. You just agree with that tiny piece of fact you found. You can even start your sentence with the incredible, powerful phrase, "You're right about that." Then number 3, the pivot or the silence. After you agree, the hater is completely thrown off. They were braced for a fight and you gave them agreement. and now they have nowhere to go. Now you can either pivot to a constructive frame, or my personal favorite, you can just stay silent. The awkwardness that follows is their problem, not yours. Now let's run a before and after so you can see it in action. Now imagine you just gave a presentation, right? And a co-worker said, "That was a mess. Your slides were confusing and you seemed totally unprepared." Now here's the typical before reaction. You get defensive. "A mess? What are you talking about? I worked on this for weeks. The slides weren't confusing. You just weren't paying attention and I was prepared." What happens now? You're in a fight. Your stress is through the roof. Your co-worker feels justified and you've completely lost control of that situation. Now, let's rewind and use the disarming agreement. The co-worker says, "This was a mess. Your slides were confusing and you seemed totally unprepared." Step 1, find the truth. You take a breath. Ignore words like mess. Was there any truth? You know that one slide with the quarterly data was pretty crowded and you did stumble over one sentence. That's your kernel. Step 2, agree strategically. You look at them calmly and say, "You know what? You're right. That one slide with all the Q3 numbers was definitely too dense. I can see how that came across as confusing." Step 3, pivot or be silent. Now you can pivot. "I appreciate you pointing that out. I'll work on simplifying my data for next time." Or even more powerfully, you just stop talking. Just a calm, confident silence. What happens here? Your co-worker is stunned. All the aggressive energy hits a wall. You acknowledge a small part of your point, which makes them feel heard, but you didn't accept the insult. You stay calm, confident, and in total control. You disarm them. They have nothing left to say, and you walk away with your dignity and your peace intact. You gotta love this, right? Number 3, why it works and how it makes you stronger. So let's talk about this. Why is this simple move so effective? Because it hacks our own primitive brain. An attack triggers our fight or flight response. Arguing back is fight. By choosing to agree, you are overriding that instinct and using a higher, more evolved part of your brain. More importantly, force the hater out of their own attack mode. An argument needs 2 people. When you refuse to play the game, then the game is over. By calmly agreeing with a sliver of truth, you give them the validation they were craving without validating their negativity. The tension just evaporates. But this isn't just about deflecting attacks. It is about turning their negativity into a massive opportunity for your own growth in 3 key ways. First, you get free feedback when you train yourself to hunt for kernel of truth. You start finding your own blind spots. The hater's delivery might be terrible, but the underlying point about your project could be gold. You learn to filter out your emotion or their emotion, extract the useful data, and improve. That's growth mindset in action. Secondly, you build serious emotional resilience. Every time you use this technique, you're rewriting your brain to not react on impulse. It's like a workout for your emotional regulation. You develop a sense of self-worth that isn't rattling around, waiting for a thumbs up from someone else. And third, you claim your time and energy. A single negative comment can hijack your whole day. It's an energy vampire. The disarming agreement ends the conflict in seconds. The emotional loop is closed and you can redirect your focus back to what actually matters, which are boom, 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 your goals, your work, and your own well-being. So the next time you feel the sting of criticism from your boss, a family member, or a stranger online, remember these 3 steps. Pause and find the truth. Agree with that truth calmly, and then take back your power with a pivot or with silence. This isn't about being a doormat. It's the exact opposite. It's about being so centered and so in control of your own emotional state that someone else's attempt to throw you off balance is completely powerless. You take the weapon they aimed at you and forge it into a tool of your own growth. True power isn't about winning every fight. It's knowing which fights aren't even worth your energy. If this idea clicked for you, my darling, make sure you subscribe, because we're all about sharing practical strategies to build the unshakable mindset for ladies. Now, I have a question for you. Please, in the comment, drop a comment below and tell us about a time you wish you had the disarming agreement. Sharing our stories helps everyone here get stronger. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, you're the one in control, not the other person. Bye for now.